Hi, friends. This is Aaronica from Aaronica Be Cole & Co., obviously. And it's not just me. So many of you have come over to my channel and been like, hey, girl, Stephanie Canada sent me. She told me that I would love you, and I do. So what did I do? I brought Stephanie Canada to my channel. So after Stephanie and I met, obviously at So Expo in 2024, we fell in love. She came to Atlanta Frocktails and we fell deeper in love in our friendship. And at that point in time, I was just like, you know what I've never done? I've never sewn a vintage pattern. However, I am a fangirl of vintage pattern makers, i.e., the Stephanie Canadas of the world, right? So we thought it would be fun if she came to town and we did a little, swap where our areas of expertise are. So she's going to be cutting out a pattern using my projector because y'all already know that I love a projector. So in order to see how that goes, you will have to tune into Stephanie's channel. And today she's challenging me to make a vintage pattern.
But not just any vintage pattern. No. So if you have been on my channel, you might have seen a little certain challenge that I took on.
Challenge.
Which was a certain book that deigned to say that you can sew any pattern in an hour from this. So this is what you will be doing today, my friend. I give you the 1968 glory that is the tiny book.
Okay. And so this is where I feel like this was my faux pas. Now, I'm an avid watcher of Stephanie's channel. I somehow missed this here handy dandy book, though. Not exactly sure how this has happened.
And now here you are.
And now here I am. Yeah, listen, let me tell you something. First of all, I just want you guys to see how big this book is.
It fit in my pocket. Literally.
But guys, they're just like, hey, here's some measurements and make a dress.
Make a vintage dress, even.
Make a vintage dress.
And listen, I am and can be a very nice person. I can also be a stage manager. This worked better in my head. Timing. We're going to be timing. Now, there's nothing that says you have to finish it in an hour. But we're just going to see how long it actually takes someone who has not done vintage patterns and maybe does not know all the vintage shortcuts like I do. So just to add that little kick in there for you.
Now listen, I want you guys to know, I believe in myself, okay?
Oh, I believe in you too.
Because you know what? I'm a really fast sewist. So I think I can do this.
I think you can too.
Now let me just ask una pregunta, right?
Yeah.
So does the timer just start when I flip it open and decide on a pattern, or does it start when I cut, or does it start when I sew?
No, it starts when you do the measurements.
The measurements.
When you start actually translating measurements to your fabric. So right before the cut. That's when I started mine. Cuts. Okay. You can read all you want.
I can read all I want.
Read all you want.
I can process all I need to.
Yes.
Okay.
But from the time that you start translating measurements to paper, that is when the timer starts.
And so
I love you so much.
I feel like this is excellent, right? And I do feel like there's a couple of things that are in here that are like, oh, this is super easy. We've got full and pleated skirts, right? So I'm like, okay, cool.
But you actually have to follow the instructions. You can't just do it from modern.
What?
You have to follow the instructions. You can't take the modern shortcuts. You must follow the instructions.
I really feel like we might need to do a separate video on modern shortcuts versus vintage shortcuts because y'all.
Yep. So I know you're eyeing those skirts because honestly, those would be the absolute fastest. Not even gonna lie.
I'm not gonna do it though. Because why take an easy way out when we could
make a caftan?
Make a caftan, which I honestly feel like that's probably what I'm gonna do.
Wholly unpractical in Atlanta, but funny.
Completely unpractical.
But wait, I'm not done yet. So I understand that you also don't usually sew with vintage fabric.
I do not.
You're going to. She's going to.
I'm actually very excited about this. Why? Because why not throw just a modern twist on a vintage feel? So I'm wondering if maybe wowzers.
So you
Okay.
have choices.
Look at her. She came to the table with choices.
You have choices.
You guys will see this on her video. I'm not giving her choices.
And yes, these all did come from the estate sale, and yes, they're all washed for you.
Wow.
Because I love you.
She loves me and she knows I pre-wash.
So we have this kind of autumn vibe nylon
Oh, I love
that is lightweight and very stretchy.
Look at how beautiful that looks on my skin.
It does.
Okay.
You have, this would be the most challenging because this has the least amount of yardage, but it is a blue and black polka dot double knit.
Okay.
And then you could make a caftan out of this, but it might be
Very
literally the
hot.
surface of the sun hot because
Yes.
this is also a double knit.
Oh, but golly, this is, oh, wow.
It's fun. It's not actually gray. It's actually like a green and blue in there with the
Yeah.
white.
Wow. Let's do a close-up of this fabric because you guys have to see this. I want you guys to be paying attention to is look at how this looks. Like it looks on this side, but then look at the completely different visual that we get. So it's giving us, is the dress gold and white or navy and black? That's what this fabric is giving us.
Again.
It is. It really is. Oh, and I feel like there's so many fun things you can do with that contrast. So now I feel like the question is what would be best for what I have an idea to make? Which you guys will find out when I start to cut.
Yep.
Okay, so if I look a little different, obviously because I'm not at home, you're welcome for stating the obvious for you. We are here at Top Stitch Atlanta, where I actually teach at. Top Stitch Atlanta is located in the Decatur area, which is the east side of Atlanta. At the studio, we teach sewing as well as hand embroidery, and during the summer, we even have camps. This is a fantastic place to come and learn how to sew, as well as have camaraderie amongst other people who sew, because we do actually host open sewing events every first Wednesday of the month. So this is definitely the best studio that I've ever been to, because we also have a secondhand fabric store called Second Stitch towards the back. So if you're in the Atlanta area, be sure to stop by for a visit and come and see us. And so I figured what better place to sew with a friend than obviously coming here. Now let's go ahead and jump into the part that I know that you guys are most interested in. What pattern did I choose from our little book, as well as what fabric? But let's start off with the fabric first, because we all know that I am a fabric lover. So I opted to go with the solid color. Now, I should have had you guys place some guesses and see what you thought that I was going to choose, but I actually feel like if you've been tuning into my channel for some time, you already knew what I was gonna go with, because your girl is a solid lover, because it makes it so much more versatile, and I like being able to have pieces that I can actually legit wear more often than not, especially because I'm a chronic re-wearer. Now, what pattern did I choose? I am going for, and I'm choosing this based off of the one and only Serena, because every time I see her in these skirts, I'm just like, I really feel like I need this, and I feel like I could throw a little modern twist on this vintage feel. So we're going for the straight skirt, just so that you guys can see this here. And it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be awesome, especially because while I am going to follow the directions, the directions, I am gonna put a little twist by adding these here vintage buttons, giving it a faux button-up feel, and I feel like that's gonna be really, really great. And then you guys will have to tune back in to see how I style it in a different video.
How about that?
So, Stephanie.
Yes.
What pattern did you think I was gonna go with?
I honestly was thinking like one of the caftan vibes. That's honestly what I thought. And that's why I brought like a metric ton of fabric, because I was like, listen, we're both bigger ladies, more to love, which means you need more fabric. There ain't nothing wrong with it.
Facts.
So I thought you were gonna go with a big caftan to be like a big flowy vintage goddess.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
And you know what? I was thinking that, but then I was like, I feel like that would be so obvious for me.
I mean, valid.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like, that'll be too obvious because obviously it is indeed caftan season. It is booty bounce jiggling in the caftan season, right? Now, let me ask you this. What fabric choice did you think I was going to go for?
Honestly, this one. I really did. I pulled this one
Surprise,
out
surprise.
of the garage and I went, is this too easy? This is too easy. But you know, it's okay to be, sometimes the easy choice is the right choice and there's nothing wrong with it.
It is true. It is true. So now is the time that we've been waiting for because based upon this here handy dandy booklet, I will be effectively just using the math and how to create this skirt. Now for me, this is gonna be the hardest part, which is to assemble it based upon the directions in here. Y'all already know I do not follow a tutorial. I like to make things up as I go, and I really just like to see how it's going to make sense for me to do it. I don't necessarily like to use a sewing machine with any kind of stretch knit. I am a serger girly, and Stephanie informed me that that would be indeed cheating. So we are not gonna cheat. We are going to follow the directions in here, and we're gonna do it the right way. So,
I guess
Stephanie.
that means it's time. I need my timer though.
It's time to
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Okay, let me just like read through it one more time.
Okay.
Okay, so leave 3 inches of the top seam. Okay, excellent, marvelous, okay.
All right. And the timer starts now.
Okay, so according to this handy dandy book, I should have like kept it open to the page that I was going to use. This is such a cute book, and I do want to make more of these patterns that are in here, so I do foresee me buying it for myself. Okay, so to establish the width of the fabric, measure your hips and divide this number in half, then add 1 inch to each side seam and movement allowance. The length is measured from your waist to your desired hem length. Add 1.5 inches extra for the skirt's waistband and 3 inches for hem. A 3-inch hem is really aggressive. Oh my goodness, okay.
It's so vintage.
So vintage, wowzers, okay. Now, Stephanie was not joking when she said that she gave me a gang of fabric, but let's see. How long do I want this to be? I actually kind of feel like we're just gonna YOLO it. I feel like that's a good enough idea. So my hip measurement is, we'll say 60 to add in that walking ease. Divided by 2 is 30. So we need 30 inches of fabric. Let's make sure that we have this going the right direction, because y'all, it would be terrible. So let's go ahead and pop this up here. Let's see. Okay. Folding this like this. I do feel like I'm gonna make a matching top for it that is going to be on this vintagey feel. Let's see. Let's check this one.
Fuck.
Oh, you only got 2. As the plot thickens. Okay, that didn't cut, so let me grab some actual scissors. Everything is awesome, everything is awesome. I'm like, tell me your scroll by your rotary cutter without telling me your scroll by your rotary cutter. There we go, okay. All right, so we got this first piece cut. Okay. So I'm going for mid-length, which I feel like is so neat. Let's see. Oh wow, great job, Aaronica. Oh, the instructions, yeah. You just might need those. Okay, so very briefly going over what I've done so far. We are doing a skirt that measures right now a total length of 35 inches, and I feel like 35 inches will be great. I'm not doing any kind of like full booty adjustment or anything like that. So there might be a little small hike in the back. It's fine. This is what they would have done in vintage times, I think. So now we're gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna give myself a little bit more ease. I'm going to be doing my skirt pieces at 17 inches. So I have my fabric folded in half, and then I have two pieces of fabric that are folded in half. So that means that I'm going to be doing a total of 34, yes, 34 on each, which now that I've said that out loud, that sounds a little big. So we're gonna take it down to 16 because 32 will give me 64 minus an inch for each seam. So then that's going to be 62. So that gives me 2 inches of ease, which I feel like will be good. I don't necessarily need negative ease for this here pattern because I don't necessarily want it to be fitted up on my body. Where it's going to be more fitted at is going to be at that waist. And so we'll let the waist do what it's supposed to do at that point in time. So I'm having a little trouble using the rotary cutter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use the scissors, which is not my favorite thing, to cut a straight line because y'all, literally the only thing that I am straight at is probably my sexuality. Everything else, we just kind of put together with a hope and a prayer that it'll be straight. And yes, I'm even saying that sewing straight lines for me can be a little challenge, but that is what we're doing today. We're challenging ourselves. So now, I have all of this extra fabric over here. We're gonna just do a quick DIY freestyle top with this because y'all already know no fabric goes to waste with me, okay? So we're gonna put this off to the side for right now. We're gonna come back to that later though. So I'm super excited because I just went over and we've got orange thread to match my orange skirt, burnt sienna, depending upon what you align with. Now we're gonna go ahead and start to sew. There goes Stephanie. Look at her getting busy with it.
Hopefully. This is not a machine I've ever used before, so let go with God, R.I.P. Why is that thread not in there? Okay, great, cool.
Not both of us being Bernina users. Over here with, no shade to Janome, just not what we're used to working. Okay, so in true Aaronica fashion, we are not pinning or clipping. I did bring over some clips just in case I did want to give you guys the opportunity to see me do it, and then I decided against it. So I am going to be doing a 1/2 inch seam allowance on each side, so I'm lining it up right here. I do feel like seam allowance is like that one thing that no one really talks about how we maintain. I did do a video on how to do that if you're like, hey girl, what is a seam allowance and how do I maintain it?
I don't like. Nope. No, go backwards, you hoe. I'm sorry, you were talking to your thing, but like for real, and I was over here. Being a menace.
I'm gonna just turn up that volume or turn up that speed. Here we go. So I feel like I gave Stephanie a more complicated pattern than what I chose for myself. Definitely gonna make a top. I know. Please look. I'm about to have this rust-colored like wardrobe. I'm like, I wish that I had my projector here with me now because how about some cute blowy pants? I already know what pant pattern I'm gonna use. So now your girl is not the greatest at cutting with scissors, and I'm looking at like these edges and I'm just like, I'm definitely gonna clean this up with a serger. All right, so we've got our first hem in, or rather our first seam in. Good money. So now we're gonna repeat the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now we're gonna get ready to pop in our hem. And the hem again is 3 inches, which again, I do feel like is super aggressive, but it's fine. So again, I'm going to go ahead and line up this 1.5 inch here with on the machine. And then I'm gonna just drop it down, drop it low, drop it. Okay, let me stay focused.
Yes, some miraculous miracle.
Now, one of my favorite like things to do is to use a little press on hem. But again, I'm trying to stay true to the challenge and follow these directions. And that is not what they said to do. They were not like, oh, BT dubs, you know? Like I also feel like I could either go for a little Metler thread that has that stretch in it, or a little zigzag stitch. But again, that's not what they said to do. So we're gonna go ahead and finish up this hem, and then we're gonna do our elastic casing. Okay, so our hem is finished. However, I've run into a slight problem. Before we left the house, we made sure that Stephanie had her elastic. Aaronica did not make sure that Aaronica had elastic. So I would have originally gone with a 1 inch elastic, giving us a fold over of what it said of 1.5 inches. However, because I'm working with 3/4 inch elastic, now we're going to do a fold over of 1 inch, and that's what we're gonna do. That's just it. And I feel like that's going to be excellent. It's going to be a great juxtaposition between this 1.5 inch, AKA 3 inch, very aggressive hem that we have going on here. And y'all, things are looking so fantastic already. I did not think that I was gonna like this super wide hem, but I do. And now I feel like this is gonna be a keeper for sure. So anytime that a pattern calls for elastic, I generally speaking do not follow what the instructions say. I just measure myself to see what I feel like is going to be the most comfortable. And honestly, this is the perfect amount of elastic because I like for mine to fit nice and firm. I wanna feel more supported than my husband makes me feel by the elastic around my waist. So this works. We're just gonna go ahead and make our elastic casing now before we thread it through. Okay, so our waistband casing has been sewn. Now we're gonna go ahead and thread our elastic through. I do feel like most of my time has been spent walking around. But Stephanie, how much time do I have left?
You're at 43 minutes.
We're making excellent time. We're making excellent time. So we're gonna just finish threading this through. And then sew that elastic casing, and we're gonna sew it together. Close up our casing. And babe, we're done. We made it underneath the hour is what I'm saying. Speaking it into existence. But also, one time for the sun coming through this here window and giving me excellent like lighting, like, I feel beautiful. Friends, it's done. We've got a new skirt. We did it. We did it. Yay, Felicimos. Let's try it on, see how she's fitting, and Stephanie is going to tell me how much time I have left. So,
It's 52 minutes.
boom, with time to spare. See how this looks. And if you guys are like, Aaronica, what pattern are you currently wearing? This is the Aurora that I designed. So let's take a step back. You guys got up close and personal with it. But how cute is she?
That is super cute.
Oh my God, is she a vintage baddie? I think so. Wowzers. And did I not wear like the perfect little jumpsuit to wear along with this for a try on? Okay, so your girl is so cute. Let's like do a little model walk in front of the fancy wall at Top Stitch, okay? Okay, and here she is. Boom. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now I feel like it's time to go ahead and make a little coordinated top. Ooh, she's cute. Just for proof, here we have. Now, we did take a couple minutes because I did decide that I was gonna go ahead and start a shirt to go along with this. And so I'm 2 minutes into my top and
she's still way farther ahead than I am.
it's not a race. Okay, so because I am who I am as a person, I did go ahead and make this super cute top that goes along with it. Oh my God, is she cute? I think she's cute. I do need to press everything out. But overall, I really feel like this challenge with Stephanie was a great success. Super excited to add these pieces into my wardrobe and then show how I style them with a more modern flair on this vintage piece. Thanks so much for joining me this time. Make sure that if you have not already, that you go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you hit that bell so that you can turn on notifications to be notified when I go live, when I drop new videos, etc. And if you were like, girl, I just want to support you more, make sure that you go ahead and join my membership committee. And I cannot wait to see you all on the next video.
So, when we are ready and have gotten everything, we are going to be properly. Oh shit! There's a notification. God damn it! Sorry.
We love a good
Don't
blooper
mind
reel.
me. Yeah, right. Like that's the blooper right there.